time now for one full hour of nitro-fueled NHRA talk. It's The Straight Line, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts with Marty Huff and 10-time NHRA winner Doug Herbert. Brought to you by Hercules Tires. Now, here's your hosts, Doug and Marty.
This is The Straight Line on drag racing. Thanks for being here for our 1 hour of horsepower. Appreciate you being with us. Winners and newsmakers from the New England Dragway join us today. Antron Brown talks about his Epping win and honored at his hometown. Ron Capps takes the funny car Wally and runs the second quickest flopper ET ever. And Alan Johnson tells us about catching up with the KB boys. The burnout is complete and we're set to launch another edition of The Straight Line. Wherever you may be, coast to coast, around the world, you are watching and listening to The Straight Line on MRN.com. Along with four-time IHRA Top Fuel champion and 10-time NHRA National Event winner Doug Herbert, I am Marty Huff. After a great weekend of racing, a weekend plus of racing at Epping, New Hampshire and New England Dragway, Monday Nationals. Never an easy thing when you have to stay an extra day and run the finals on a Monday.
Well, especially when they've got back-to-back races like what they're doing here, where they're going to have four in a row. So at least it didn't get drug out till Tuesday or Wednesday. Yeah. They got it done on Monday, and it was a little bit of a bummer probably because flights changed, hotels. So there's an additional expense involved for every team, NHRA, sponsors, everybody. But they got the race in, and they got some pretty good numbers in, too.
Yeah, they got some really good numbers. By my count, the third sellout on a Saturday this season.
Yeah.
They sold out here, they sold out in Atlanta, and they sold out at Epping. It's been a really good year.
Yeah, that's good for the NHRA. It's good for the tracks, the promoters. It makes the TV show look better. There's just nothing bad about it. So great job by those guys getting everybody out to the racetrack. And, the race here in Charlotte, in fairness, says that four-wide race has always been pretty good.
Sure.
The weather is what messes them up most of the time. And Atlanta crowds have generally been pretty good.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to see that, though. The New England crowd, they just love drag racing up there. So let me tell you, they've been I've went to plenty of races up there that were packed. Like there was every stand seat was full and they're 10 deep on the fence is how it goes up there. So that's pretty cool. Neat that they had such a great turnout.
And speaking of I think really good things to come. Yesterday it was announced the 2017 schedule is out at the earliest that anybody can remember. This is really good for a couple of reasons. First of all, the strength of the sport is showing because there are no doubts. Usually you have to kind of stretch things along.
It seems like for the last 30 years it always comes out the weekend of Indy. So I'm actually a little bit surprised. It seems, this is pretty early. I mean, it's only June 1st. I don't know, but I guess if it's in stone, they know that that's what it is.
Yep.
Yeah, sure, might as well get it out. But seems, I think it's pretty early, but that's good. Helps everybody get their plans going for next year.
That is correct. Everybody can kind of set what they want to do for next year. The only difference in the schedules from this year to next year is they're flip-flopping the Charlotte and Houston events. This year was Charlotte, Houston, Atlanta, and now they're going to go from Las Vegas to Houston to Charlotte, and then right down the road, down I-85 and 3 in a row from Houston, Charlotte, then to Atlanta, which will make kind of for nice, good, simple travel plans for sure. But but
I still just don't think they never look at a map when they make the schedule. It's like okay, go from Gaines. We're going from Phoenix. We used to go Pomona, Phoenix, Houston, Dallas, Gainesville.
Yeah.
And then you race on the East Coast for a while. But now it's, Phoenix, go to Gainesville, back to Vegas, go to
Oh yeah.
You know, I don't know. They didn't ever look at a map.
You're stitching the United States from one end to the other.
Right. All they're looking at is buying plane tickets and not what really takes to get a team to a truck or to a racetrack. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm sure there's more into it than what I'm thinking about, because, obviously it's hard to probably fill a race in Dallas one weekend and Houston the next weekend or vice versa. But, gosh, that was sure a lot easier for race teams, I can tell you that.
Yeah, I would imagine. So, coming up, we'll talk to Antron Brown. We'll talk to Ellen Johnson. We'll talk to Ron Capps about their really good weekends this weekend at Epping, New Hampshire. Wanted to take up a driver's thought about what happened on Saturday with Jack Beckman and the unbelievable blow up that he had, tearing the body off of his car, and just kind of what happens when something like that happens to you when you're behind the wheel and that thing blows up. Just kind of put us in that seat as much as you can.
It happened so fast. I talked to Jack actually on Saturday and a little bit on Sunday, a little bit on Monday, but they had a camshaft break, and that's what caused it. So it wasn't like the thing starts laying over.
Yeah.
It just broke and it blew up, and there's no other way to think about it. But that was a bad one, and to have all that stuff flying back in your face, that's a serious one. It comes down to, and we've talked about it before, you're a race car driver. Jack Beckman's a race car driver.
Oh, man.
He gets in that race car, and he races the car, and that's just the way it is. I guarantee you the next time Jack got back in the car, that was out of his mind. He didn't think about it. Yeah. He got in the car. He did what he does and went down the track and didn't even think twice about it, because if you do think twice about it, guess what? It's time to go take up golf or something. Yeah. Something else, not driving a nitro funny car or top fuel car. Whatever.
What I was most impressed about was that he kept driving that thing. I mean, and you have to. After that thing was already, the body was off of it, and it was, parts and pieces blowing off all over the place.
What everybody needs to understand is those bodies are all the downforce on the car, which makes it so you can drive the car. When the body's gone, guess what? No downforce. It's real hard to drive those cars with no downforce. So that's a problem. Maybe even not as bad on a funny car as it is on a top fuel car. You lose the wing on a top fuel car, you're almost for sure going to crash.
Yeah.
The body comes off on a funny car, you're probably going to be okay. You're not going to stop real fast, but you're probably going to be okay. So it's, there's a little bit of difference there. And I wish, back to my streamlining thing, if they let the dragsters be a little bit of streamliners, then it would probably not be as bad. The wing wouldn't be quite as critical as what they are right now. The only reason why a top fuel car stays on the track is because the front and the rear wing work together. If one or the other of them break, especially either one actually, the front of the rear wing break, the car's probably going to crash.
Yeah. Initially, Jack thought he was the issue. He got it out of the groove, and sometimes when you spin the tires, get it out of the groove, you spin the tires. Sometimes that makes the engine want to, or over rev and
I watched
break.
It looked like a cylinder drop, but I don't think that didn't have anything to do with whatever happened. I mean, the cam broke, and I didn't get into it with him about, how, why, whatever. I know a little bit about cam, so I was trying to help him on that. And hopefully maybe we can help him. I gave him some ideas and some things that I did that maybe, that I know that they're not doing, and maybe it'll help them in the long run. Who knows?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, and back some time ago, I remember a guy who broke a camshaft right at the starting line and ended up being a poster. And
that was not a camp. Everything broke. But that was that deal at Pomona in '99 was the first year that we had electronic MSD ignitions. That was an electronics deal.
Yeah.
So I don't know. MSD never figured out what it was. This is the weirdest thing. You would have thought they'd have came back and said, hey, we figured it out, this, that. They said there was nothing wrong with them, but we're going to go ahead and give you some new boxes and some new stuff. And I thought, okay, well, they were getting out of their liability. They wanted those parts to disappear. So whatever. Yeah. That's what I thought. And I'm, all I know is it cost me a lot of money, and that particular year. We won a lot of races. We were top of the points
running
during
for
the
the
year. I mean, we
championship.
ran really good, and then that happened, and it was like that's all everybody talked about, and I was pissed. I mean, there's no other way to say it, but that was just a fact.
Yeah, and wound up on the poster of a lot of guys, including mine, garages for a long time.
Well, it is a cool poster. I mean, it is a cool poster, but it's
but
like,
it was
wow.
That poster cost a lot of money to make.
It costs a lot of money to make that poster.
Coming up on the program, Ron Capps will join us about obviously winning the race, but he also ran a very, very quick number on Friday. Alan Johnson will be here, his first final of the year, and kind of catching up to the KB boys. And when we return, we'll talk to a guy that was honored yesterday in a really, really cool ceremony, and he was also the winner this weekend at Epping. Antron Brown joins us next.
This is The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. More coming up right after this.
Live sports are the one true reality entertainment, where a single dramatic moment can become timeless. In NASCAR, Motor Racing Network's live broadcasts elevate your senses to the sights, sounds, and struggles taking place on the racetrack.
One final lap in the Daytona 500. Joey Logano has the point. Junior crosses over.
The power of radio to the imagination of the listener. Tune in to the Motor Racing Network. Visit MRN.com for an affiliate list in your local area.
Being there matters, and your United States Navy protects and defends America on the world's oceans. Around the globe, around the clock, Navy ships, submarines, aircraft, and most importantly, tens of thousands of America's finest young men and women are ready to defend America when piracy threatens global commerce, when disaster strikes, or when called upon by the Commander-in-Chief. Your Navy is there. When it comes to protecting and defending America, being there matters, and America's Navy is already there.
Looking for winged sprint car coverage? MRN has you covered with Winged Nation. Tuesdays at noon Eastern, it's Winged Nation presented by Hercules Tire on MRN.com. Thursdays, check out the Winged Nation Weekend Preview podcast presented by Hefner Racing Products. Then on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. Eastern, watch Winged Nation presented by Sage Fruit on BAV TV. MRN's Winged Nation, your source for all things winged sprint cars. Welcome back to The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Here's more with Marty Huff and Doug Herbert.
Well, let's see. Nothing happening for this guy, really, other than he was the Top Fuel winner at Epping this weekend. And yesterday, I had a huge deal happen for him at Englishtown, where we're heading this week. And, we'll just let Antron Brown explain exactly what the deal is. Antron, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it. Yesterday, a huge deal for you in your hometown. Talk about that.
Well, it was big, man. And I tell you what, I'm still in disbelief because I was like, really? Because normally you get things like this once your career is over, and I'm just like halfway into mine. So to come back to hometown, the area where I'm from Chesterfield, New Jersey, a little town here in New Jersey, they actually gave the honor and named a street after me, and it's called Antron Brown Way. So
Wow.
That was really, really, really cool, and it's pretty awesome just to come back. It humbles you, it makes you feel good, and I was very fortunate to grow up in that neighborhood that I grew up in, and it helped me become the person who I am today, and that's just a great honor just to have a street named after me like that.
That is really cool, and I'm lucky to have known you for a long time, and I think you've added a lot to a lot of people's lives. I see, talking years ago, even when you're riding the motorcycle, talking to Army people, and your motivational stuff you do with your Matco Tools guys. You're a good guy, and I'm sure proud to have you as a friend of mine too, Antron.
Absolutely, Doug, man, and that's what it really stems from, Doug, is just that the way we are all together, like we're tight knit, we're like family. You know what I mean? And all good people stick together, and we lean on each other. And to grow up in that area where I grew up, it's very rural New Jersey. Everybody thinks of New Jersey as being New York, and where I grew up in South Jersey, not too far from Philly, but where I grew up is nothing but horse farms and fresh produce farms, and my family owned a septic tank business, and And I'm not, like, it's one of those deals that you're kind of proud of, but it's kind of funny at the same time. Our number one motto was, you dump, we pump. And that's the way my grandpa used to talk about making money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He said, everybody take to the bathroom, son. And I was like, you're right, Grandpa. He said, we'll never go out of business. And we haven't from 1955 till now. My dad and uncle still runs my grandpa's business, and it's good, but it helped me shape and mold to the person I am today for sure.
That is cool. I'm going to go look around down there and see if I can take a ride down Antron Brown Drive.
Oh, hey, I made jokes to everybody. I said, I feel sorry for all those people that's building houses on them, man, because once they put my name on that street, it's definitely going to bring the property value down.
Oh, I doubt that. Hey, tell us about this weekend, man. 56th win of your career. Now you passed Bernstein. You passed a bunch of these, like, legendary guys. Man, you're in a good spot.
And thing about it is it feels good to get all those wins. And the thing about it I always say is that Bernstein, then when they were racing in their career too, like at the end of the career, had as many races as we do, but we have a lot of races now, like 24 races. But one thing that I can tell you though, Doug, is a lot of people don't think about the competition level that we have now is just crazy. To win a round, not even a race, just to go to the semifinals, is like you won 2 races inside of itself now. Just compared just from when I started racing Top Fuel Racing. Like when I raced Top Fuel Racing, and if you're on a really good team and your car ran well, it's like you really did, like, sometimes you might see somebody second round that was like a real competitive team, and then when you get to the semifinals, you had a slugfest. Well, now we're having slugfest, coming out of the first round. You can line up against somebody that could win the race.
Wait a second. Tell us about your first round over here in Epping. You didn't have a slugfest first round.
No,
because you ran so good in qualifying. You had nobody in the other lane.
No, we had a bye round, which was pretty unusual. We only had 14 cars, and then we only had 13 cars that showed up to race on Monday because some of them had to go back to work. But from here on out now I'm looking at the entry list that we're pretty full up. We got 16 plus cars here at Englishtown, so I don't think we're going to have a gimme like that for some time to come right now. So that bye run is nice to have first round because you could actually get a measure on the track and get your stuff right for the rest of the race day for sure.
Well, you really were scaring your teammates as well because the 2 next guys, your teammates, and some of the best drivers on the planet, Sean Langdon and Tony Schumacher, both went red. They knew that they had to get a jump on you because you were out there. You were out there for blood. But how unusual? Well, I'll tell you how unusual. Only the 5th time in 20 years that Tony Schumacher has gone red. So you know that he was trying to get a jump on you, Antron.
Well, Tony, that's the thing right now. You just get in some of those grooves right now where you're just trying to – you want to win. We all want to win. We all are pushing hard to win. And I know, and Doug, you know how it is too, is that when you're pushing that envelope and you're striving to be better, you start doing some things that you don't normally do because you're trying. You're not just letting it happen.
Yeah.
And I've done it this year. I've done it against Leah Pritchett in Phoenix this year. I lost second round because it was a long light, and that's what Tony and Sean both had. We had some long lights because I was ready to go too. And then what happens is you're ready to go, and their foot was going down, and then their mind was like, it didn't come on yet, and their foot just kept on going. And it's just one of those mishaps. And Tony right now, his car is running good, and he's lost some close races this year, and he was just pushing the tree, just like we all have to do that now. If you want to win a round, you have to push that envelope. If you're not, well, you're not racing. And Tony will tell you himself, he goes, back in the day, he didn't have to push it like that. Well, now you have to push it if you want to get a round win. And Sean is always on that cutting edge, just like me.
Yep.
You can go either way. When you're on that edge of that blade and you're cutting those lights like that each and every time, you're going to pop one up here now and then that's going to be red. And, I mean, if you're not, you're just not pushing hard enough.
Well, and obviously, Brian Karate and Mark Oswald, your longtime crew chiefs, had the car running good because you started from the pole. But then looking at your reaction times, you're 56, 45, 53, 53. You were there, and you always are every week. And I think putting the pressure on Schumacher, putting the pressure on Langdon, everybody's got to dig down a little bit deeper when they come up against you, because they know you don't just have a fast car, you got a fast package.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, and that's what it takes now. You said the exact words, Doug, is that you have to have a fast package. That's what it takes now to win rounds. You know what I mean? And I didn't realize, but Brittany did that to us against us in Topeka the weekend before, where her car, she was the number one qualifier, and we raced her second round, and she took off because she was pressing the tree. Well, the thing about it is that now everybody has a fast car.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? It's not uncommon. You go to like Coletta's teams, their cars are fast. Lucas's teams, their cars are fast. Our cars are fast at DSR. Torrance has a fast car. Like you look at it now, Terry Millen went out there and ran a mid-70 in Topeka. You get what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like now, who doesn't have a fast car?
True enough.
You get what I mean? That's the good question. So what you have to do now is that everybody has to elevate their game where you have to get it on all ends to win a round now. So it's making everybody elevate their game to another level, and that's what we're doing. That's what I've been working on for years. Is not just to be quick, but to do it consistently. And if you could do that, then you're going to win more rounds of racing when your car runs fast. And now everybody's cars run fast, so it's a must to have it off the tree too, also.
Yeah, and speaking of teammates, you get to add one this weekend and for another couple of weeks as Leah Pritchett joins back into the DSR fold.
Absolutely, and she's an animal too. I mean, that's the craziest part is that we keep on adding teams. Like our 4 funny car teams are no joke, and our 3 top fuel teams are no joke. Now you add Leah with Googer over there and Joe Barlam. That team is no joke, and her lights were phenomenal this last week, and she was like in the high 30 range, like every round. She even busted like a 19 on Tony that one round, almost took him out.
Yep.
So we got some serious competitors out there, and it's going to feel good to have her out there in the Fire Raid car this weekend, and it's definitely going to elevate the game again to another level.
Well, Antron, I'll look forward to seeing you this weekend up there on Antron Brown Lane, New Jersey.
Yeah,
check that out.
The Grand Marshal this weekend at E-Town. So make sure you come and
I'll
kiss
be going
the ring of
I'll
the
be
Grand
going by
Marshal.
to see you this weekend, Antron. That's for sure. Congratulations on your win last weekend. Back to your hometown this weekend. Antron Brown, driver of the Backhoe Tools Top Field car.
I really appreciate it, Doug and Marty. It's always great being on the show, man, and both of you guys are class acts and gentlemen, and I always enjoy being on your show because when I am, I know I've done something good besides just talking to you guys, too.
Antron, thanks a lot.
Anytime. Y'all take care.
Thanks,
Antron Brown, the driver of the Matco Tools Top Fuel Dragster, 2-time and defending Top Fuel champion. And when we return, speaking of champions, the 2012 champion of the Pro Stock ranks, Alan Johnson, will join us next.
This is The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. We'll have more for you right after this.
Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires will get you there. Whether you're running on dirt or running a job, our dependable, high-quality tires are the perfect fit for your needs. For unmatched value, selection, and warranty with industry-leading road hazard protection, there's only one choice: Hercules Tires. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com or call 800-677-9535. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
When the smoke settles, the entertainment never stops.
I feel like experience kind of outweighs youth.
On race weekends, your favorite NASCAR personality is an everyday superhero.
Kyle Busch driving for his life right now.
But when they leave the racetrack, they're just like everyone else.
Our lives are so much different than what people may think they are.
I'm Susie Armstrong. Join me on a daily journey as we discuss the hot topics and engaging personalities of NASCAR Nation. Ned Jarrett's World of Racing, weekdays on the Motor Racing Network.
NASCAR K&N Pro Series East opened up, and it was Todd Gilliland picking up the race win.
This is NASCAR Coast to Coast.
How do you keep it all in perspective? You're a 15-year-old. You got to be able to enjoy things at the age of 15 other than racing.
Yes, my mom makes sure that I keep my grades up. It makes it a lot less stressful to miss school because you can just do it online and then hand it in next day at school. Teachers still don't like me very much because I still have to miss quite a bit of school. They understand it, and they've got my back.
NASCAR Coast to Coast every Wednesday at noon at MRN.com. You're listening to The Straight Line. brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Now it's back to Marty Huff and Doug Herbert.
Big thanks to the guy that has a name, a street named after him in Chesterfield, New Jersey, Antron Brown, for joining us on the Straight Line. And joining us on the telephone right now is the driver of the Marathon Petroleum Dodge, and he's the 2012 Pro Stock champion. Alan Johnson joins us. Great weekend for you, AJ. Thanks for being with us.
Guys, thanks for having me. And yeah, we had a great weekend. Had a little luck along the way, but it worked out to get us up there where we had a shot.
Hey, Alan, tell me, last year we talked to you at the end of the year, and you won that last race with the carburetors, and you were just unsure about going into this year, and it looks like you're getting that thing right up to speed. You didn't miss much of a beat.
Well, you know, it's been a real struggle, Doug, to be honest with you, and we're just now learning how to learn. So, you know, we've got some good partners that we're working with CFE and Wilson Manifolds and LAT Oils. Everybody's just working with us real stout. And, of course, Marathon's the only reason we're out there. They allow us to spend another year on the circuit.
And, Alan, tell us, on the Mopar side of things, are you working with some of the other Pro Stock Mopar guys? Are you guys doing your own thing this year, or how's that working?
You know, we still have a relationship with Mopar, and they're still working with us on some parts and some of the engineering type stuff. But, no, we are not working with any other Mopar teams per se, but with Mopar.
Right.
But the good news being is that right now, among all the Dodge teams, you're the top of the heap.
Yeah.
Well, we're doing that awful well, and you know that's one thing that was really important to me this year coming out is to always be the best Mopar out there, and we've been able to do that so far. But the other guys, you know, they'll get it, and they picked up a little bit this past weekend, and we sort of, you know, like I said, I think we were getting a little slower every run, so we had a motor going away, I think. And, you know, to be honest, we haven't got these motors yet to where I don't think we can change one in between rounds with all the wiring and all the new stuff. It's going to be really tough, and we're still getting set up with each motor having its own wiring harness and things for the EFI, so if we do have a boo-boo, we can change it.
Well, you went up for that final round, and you were ready for Greg Anderson with an 018 light. You got him off the line, just didn't have enough to hold him off. But you know, it's neat when you see, and I've been through the same thing just like you, right? These young kids come up, and all of a sudden they're pushing us. Not that Greg's a young kid, but that's, you know, whatever. Competition is pushing us to be so much better. But an 18 light, you were ready in that final.
You know, I had a purpose for driving like that yesterday, Doug. I don't know if you read our press release or anything, but you know, a really good friend of mine, Walter Humphreys, and he just passed away about a couple hours ago. Justin Humphreys that we raced with, his father. I was doing all I could do to take that trophy to him, and we went up yesterday and spent the whole day with the family and got to say bye to him, and it was a really special deal. But I just really wanted to take that Wally to him as a last thing for him to see, and didn't quite get it done, but I feel like all the luck I had along the way, he was riding right on my shoulder. So great man, a great family, and just very unfortunate that this damn cancer is getting everybody.
Talk about running on Monday, Alan, and what kind of challenges that brings to a team like yours when you think you got everything figured out for a Sunday and trying to get it done, and then you got to stay a whole nother day. And just what is that like for a team that's trying to get it back up and down the road and running 4 in a row?
Well, you know, first of all, it's a long day on Sunday when you sit there and watch it rain all day. If it hadn't been for Kurt Busch doing what he did, I guess I've been bored out of my gourd, because Kurt and I are good friends, and I watched him suck that gas out from a straw out of the bottom of the tank, I think, to get to the end. That was fun to watch. But it's hard on teams, you know. We're already stressed to the max and travel all the time, and that one extra day, it really works on you. But we got a veteran team, and everybody knows how to deal with it.
Yeah, well, you guys do, obviously. And, hey, now one thing that I wanted to talk to you about is our brakes deal. We're coming, because of you, we're coming over to Knoxville, and hopefully we'll go visit some schools over in Greenville, too. And then also for Clay Milliken, going to Memphis. And there again, I think that what you're helping us do out in the world is helping some families avoid some severe things.
You know what I always say, Doug. That's a real important thing to me. And this thing you've got started, and it's exploding all over the country, and it's exploding for a reason. It saves lives of these young kids, and hats off to you for keeping this deal growing.
Well, thank you, and I'm looking forward to coming to Greenville and going to visit some kids like you and I did that one year. We saw, I don't know, a couple thousand kids, I suppose, that one year.
Yeah, at least. We went to, I think, 5 different schools, so it works.
Yep, that is good. We're gonna look forward to doing that again. Now that runner-up over there moved you up to number 4 in points. You're kind of, that's a pretty good spot to be in coming down the run here, and so hanging on to that spot and going into the countdown with number 4 wouldn't be a bad place to be, or even moving up a little.
I don't think I can get to 2, but I think if we can just improve our performance like we run at Topeka, we were right with them on Sunday at Topeka, and we lost a little bit of it at Epping. But if we can run within 100th of 2 of them guys, they're going to get knocked off here pretty dang quick. And I want that number 3 spot. I don't think I can get to number 2, but we got quite a ways to go. And if I get that number 3 spot and be within 100th of 2 of those guys going in the countdown, well, that's what's going to be important.
Well, and the main thing is, like you said, going into the countdown and having a car that can run with them, then all of a sudden you can whip them.
Yep. Yeah, I think we're really close. I'm telling you, E1 there at Topeka run within 100th of Greg and Jason, and run second top mile an hour right behind Jason. Yeah. And we thought going to Epping we could continue that, and looks like we might have had a motor going away and just didn't catch it in time to change it. But I look forward to Englishtown. It's a great track for us, and we like it up there.
You talked about having the getting some new people in the right places, and I know you can't talk specifics, but some of the gains that you've made, obviously, as you said, we're learning how to learn, or maybe relearning how to learn. In this case, with the new system, so. Where are, or actually, and again, you can't talk specifics, but are there specific areas that you're looking at, like, hey, we've improved here, we've improved here. If we keep doing that, we're going to catch the KB guys?
It's all about the fuel system and the air intake system. You've got to learn it both, and learn where to put in the fuel and where to put in the air and how to mix it and how much to mix. It's just a totally new game, and it's all, I feel like KB got a head start on everybody because of their dyno system. They have a very, very complicated and great dyno system over there where they can change the air and make different conditions and just read a lot of things we don't have the capabilities to do in our little shop. So, ours has been trial and error at the track, and we've been busting our cans to get that done. And when you finally get close, then you can start nitpicking and, like I said, learn where to learn.
Yeah.
Hey, Alan, so going in, racing for you is different than it is for some of the other guys, but all in all, NHRA is kind of a big family. But you go to the races with your dad and your mom and Pam. I mean, you have a family racing team, and that, I think, is really cool. And how does that it's also got to be fun, because that's the time you're spending with your family is at the races. And, I mean, I guess you guys must have fun going racing, or you wouldn't have been doing it for so long.
That's the reason that we started racing pro stock 21 years ago. Has been my dad's life dream when growing up, watching him wanting to do it, and just never could get the financial backing to jump from the sportsman and comp ranks into pro stock. And then we quit for about 15 years and I went up to him and said, Dad, you still want to do this? I got lucky in business, and I said, I can get us started for 2 or 3 years, and if you'll get it to where we can get a sponsor, I think we can do this deal. And 21 years later, we're still doing it. And my mom and dad eat and breathe it, and my wife eats and breathes it. And like you said, it's a family gig, and I probably wouldn't even be doing it if it wasn't.
And I know you can't talk specifics, speaking of teams, but with the moving of Drew Skillman from the elite camp over to the gray camp, it's pretty evident that tempers and temperament, I guess, is wearing thin among the pro stock guys, because there are people that are moving halfway through the season trying to get a better deal.
Well, patience is a virtue that a lot of people need to learn. All I can say is I know of 2 moves one team's made, and man, they were untimely. They could be enjoying the benefits of KB horsepower this year if they hadn't run out of patience. And you've seen Vincent pick up with the Chevy package this weekend, so that red team might have waited another week or 2 before they changed. So people's going to go around and come around, and that's just part of pro stock.
Yeah, just part of racing altogether. What are the main places that you're going to see the pro stock guys improve on as it going through? It's just getting that EFI and the intake system figured out. That's where the real gains are right now, and what you think, whatever the KB guys have a little bit of an advantage is, that's the area.
Yeah, it's just a tuning package and getting the air and the fuel and the correct amount in the correct places. And I think by the end of the year, in my opinion, by the end of the year, everybody will probably get a lot closer, and it'll be knock down, drag out, and a countdown. But it's taken 4 months to get close to where they were at day one.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, Alan Johnson, runner-up last weekend in Epping, thanks for joining us. Driver of the Johnson & Johnson Racing Marathon Oil Pro Stock Dodge. So we appreciate you joining us, buddy, and I'll look forward to seeing you in Englishtown this weekend. I'm going to be up there.
Okay, we look forward to seeing you guys, and thanks for having me on.
2012 Pro Stock champion Alan Johnson joining us on the Straight Line. When we return, we will talk to the funny car winner at Epping. Ron Capps will join us next.
You're listening to The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. More right after this.
Race fans, you know there's nothing like the power, excitement, and sounds of NASCAR. Ever wonder what it would be like to strap yourself in the seat of an authentic NASCAR race car? You can do it at the Richard Petty Driving Experience. Ride along or drive yourself at one of 15 tracks nationwide. Call 1-800-237-3889 or visit online at drivepetty.com. Richard Petty Driving Experience. It's authentic NASCAR entertainment. Call 1-800-237-3889 or visit drivepetty.com to reserve your experience.
Are you ready?
To help children forget about their serious medical conditions so they can just be a kid. Then support Victory Junction, which is the dream of late race driver Adam Petty, who wanted to build a camp where children concentrate on fun and laughter, not illness or disability. At Victory Junction, kids enjoy ziplining, horseback riding, swimming, fishing, all in a medically safe environment, all at no cost to the camper. What do you say, Richard Petty?
Let's do this.
Learn more at victoryjunction.org.
Looking for a great spot for an affordable beach vacation or the perfect romantic retreat? Let the Plaza Resort and Spa help. A vacation on the world's most famous beach is sure to help you reconnect with the ones you love. Discover the grand tradition of hospitality and service on Daytona Beach. The Plaza Resort and Spa is the perfect choice for any type of getaway. Book online at plazaresortandspa.com or call 1-855-DB-PLAZA. That's 1-855-327-5292.
It's The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Now here's Marty Huff and Doug Herbert.
Thanks to Antron Brown and Alan Johnson for joining us on the show today, and joining us on the telephone line, the winner at New England Dragway at Epping, and we're totally taking credit for this one because we had him on last week. Driver of the Napa Dodge for Dodge Schumacher Racing, Ron Capps joins us. Congratulations on our win.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
I don't know if this could get boring for your show if you have me on before every race.
Well, I don't think you're going to complain about it, though.
No.
Well, especially with these back-to-back ones, that just works out kind of conveniently. It was such a long time since we talked.
Yeah, that was what a weekend. And, yeah, thanks again for having me on your show. I love being on your show, and I especially love being on it after we win.
Yeah, right.
46 wins. Man, it's just amazing how putting that thing together. But coming around the second time to win this race, and we were kind of talking about that, but you made a move in the points. The car ran really good. You had low ET of the race. I mean, not only was the car running good, but Ron Capps was doing one heck of a job driving the car.
Man, it was one of those weekends that I haven't probably been through in a while as a driver, where it really put me in a position where in the car I really had to be kind of on my toes more than usual. And I wasn't ready for it the first run. We unloaded in Q1 on Friday. We ran the second quickest run in history, and I just wasn't expecting it. And nobody really thought the conditions were that good, but apparently they were, and the track was, because a lot of people ran good, but we ran our quickest run, and again, the second quickest run in history. And it the whole way down, I actually almost shut the car off at half track because I thought I was driving it around too much, and I thought I was going to have to abort the run, and thank God I didn't. But then I thought, oh boy, this is going to be one of those weekends, and it was. And it was fun. It's on the edge of being out of control every run and jumping out of the groove, but at the same time, I guess that's what made me want to be a funny car driver.
Yeah.
Were you talking about that before Q1? Did Tobler say, or kind of give you that indication, hey, hold on to this thing because it may run a really, really low number?
Well, we've had some stuff, to be honest with you. I think when I talked to you guys last, we talked about Hagan and Beckman, those guys running pretty good down in Topeka, and Hagan setting the world's fastest run and the quickest run. So the parts and pieces at DSR that we had sort of been working on, we didn't have them in Topeka yet. We were in line to get some of the new stuff that we've been working with, and so we got them before Epping. And so Tobler did say, this, we don't know what's going to happen, but evidently it's pretty good stuff because, we saw how good Hagan ran down at Topeka. So he said, just be ready. We're not sure it's going to be, the front end might be light. We don't know it should run better. And man, I got on the radio in the shutdown area and went, holy cow. And, then I came around the corner and the track people told me it went 386. And that's when I realized, these parts do work pretty good. So
yeah. And
we did talk a little bit about it, but not much. And I probably should have listened more before the first run.
and Alan Reinhart said after your second run, which was I believe a 388, the first time that anybody run 388 and slowed.
Yeah, you would have thought somebody kicked our dog or something. The whole crew guy, everybody was bummed out. We got back to pit area, and I went, wow. I said, 2 weeks ago, you guys would have, gave a left thumb for a 388 like that, and we were disappointed. But and that's the way the weekend had just set the tone. I'm telling you, it was crazy because, I didn't know it till the final round. I did the interview, and then in the press room, they told me it was the first in history to go 3-second runs, all 8 runs, all qualifying and all through eliminations, which is, it didn't hit me until they told me, and I thought, man, that's an achievement. So, that's just Tobler and the guys. They're on it. And I love Tobler's attitude this weekend. He had that aggressive, let's start kicking some butt attitude, and had his chest out a little bit, and that's what you want to see as a crew chief out in front of you.
Yeah, exactly. And Tobler, he I've known him for a long time too, and he gets where he likes to go down the track. Let's make those other guys make a mistake. Let's run our race and do what we do, and you do your job driving. But this weekend, I guess, coming out of the gate and running that well, he just goes, okay, now is our time that we're going to flex what we got here. Seems like.
Yeah, well, we've I haven't had it be on him or Don. Don is a little bit in the past where he's like, you guys need to get after a little bit more in qualifying. And Tobler's the hardest on himself. Like, he'd love to have those qualifying points every run and be first or second quickest of every qualifying session. But like you said, he's more about getting data every run. And when the conditions are there, yeah, he'll take a shot at it. But to be low ET of every session like that, those are the things that's fun as a driver, knowing you have a hot rod like that. And I think he kind of gave himself a little extra confidence, because I don't think he expected the car to run quite that good the first lap. Then he realized when he looked at the data, hey, this thing is not on the edge yet. We've got some more hot rod in here. So it was neat throughout the day. On Sunday, race day, he just looked at me every run. I said, that felt safe. And he just looked at me. He goes, you won't even believe how safe this thing is right now. So he was in that mode. We're just going down the track on Sunday. And it's going to be fun when we see some conditions, maybe this weekend on Friday night.
52 times Don Schumacher Racing has swept the weekend, both funny car and top fuel. Racing your teammate TJ in the final, you got to be real confident right now heading into E-Town with the Don Schumacher stuff. I mean, not that you never have been, but if this weekend is any indication, E-Town's going to be looking really good.
Well, I remember several years ago, we ran the quickest run in history, and we did it here in Englishtown on a Friday night. I remember coming back to the team hotel, and there's a restaurant bar downstairs, and, you get back late on a Friday night, and it was the quickest run in history, and it was, a lot of interviews that night. I got back to the hotel, and the best part of the whole event was having the crew guys come in after they got done at the track and just kind of sitting around and having a beer and relishing what we had just accomplished, because we went 396 when nobody had gone close to that. And that held up for, a couple of years at least before anybody had broke that. So that was a huge, huge run. And I just remember how neat that was. And then now we look at the last year of everybody just throwing down these incredible numbers. And now we're back at the place where we made that run. And Friday night, the conditions look like they could cool off. And it's a great racetrack. It's historic. It's one of the longest, 47th annual. So it's been around a long time. And Doug will tell you, it's a big one to win. So I'm looking forward to Friday. Now I got this hot rod from last weekend. It makes it a little bit of, you get a little more excited about a Friday night session.
Well, everybody's talked about for years, right? Sweeping the Western swing, and now there's an Eastern swing. So now you're the only guy that can sweep the Eastern swing.
Well, let's just concentrate on one day at a time.
Yeah, one at a time. Yeah, right. That's true. Well, you know what? That second win of the season, moving you to number 3 in the points. We're flashing that up on our screen now. What a great weekend, and what a testament to the team that you have over there with that Napa Dodge. It's incredible.
Yeah, that's we wanted to move back up in points. That was big. We've been up there since winning the first race this year, and just and then last few races we struggled a little bit, and we had a malfunction in Topeka to put a cylinder out. Just weird things the last few races. So it was good to get back in the winner's circle and get back in the points where we need to be, but. Got to go back real quick and just give credit to that track at New England, man. I don't know what they did when they poured that concrete, but they did a heck of a job. I mean, there's times when tracks have poured concrete in the past, and it just doesn't hold up. But this track had 120-degree track temperature Monday on race day and held runs in the low 390s. So it's a great racetrack.
And one that we've seen a lot of great runs. E-Town, another one of those. But on Saturday, when your teammate Jack Beckman blew up how he did it give you a little trepidation about, hey, is there something wrong here? Or did you just kind of think that was maybe just a one-off deal?
They're always one-off deals. It seems like that, that I see mine from a couple of years ago. They show, I see it. I see it all the time on Fox Sports 1 because they air it. It's the last thing you see on that commercial.
Yeah.
So I remember how that felt, and I've been through a few of those. We all have. Doug's been through one of the biggest I'd ever seen.
Yep.
So he can tell you it's always kind of a freak of nature when they happen. Something somewhere, something went wrong. And so when I was strapping in my car, Jack blew up, and he was a few pairs ahead of us. So I heard it and actually felt it.
Jeez.
It was a huge explosion. So when they showed the replay and we were at the track behind there, it looked bad. And then I just finally saw the slow-mo yesterday. I flew home to California and got to sit down and actually watch it. And, man, oh, man, we're going to have to start looking. You know, I told him when my explosion happened, I had some pretty big marks on my helmet. Some stuff came back and hit me, and it actually knocked me out in the shutdown area for a little bit. He is so lucky that some of the supercharger parts that were right in front of him didn't come back and hit him. So hopefully NHRA, I'm sure they are. All the NHRA guys are right on it, but we're going to have to start looking at some ways to protect us in the funny car, because these dragster top fuel guys have been out. You know, the ones, the explosions we've seen all season long have been pretty violent, but what people didn't realize is that's the same engine that's exploding. It's only a foot in front of us now in a funny car. We have nowhere to dodge it from. Our cockpit's right there. So, you know, I just don't want to see anybody get hurt or worse, and we're going to have to start looking at that.
Well, speaking of the funny cars and the funny car designs, Marty and I have been talking about that for the last couple of weeks.
You guys building one? Is it finally coming true?
No. Yeah, no. I haven't gotten that dumb yet. I haven't. Yeah,
but it's like the rumor's true.
Yeah, no. If I did anything, I'd have to do a nostalgia car. That Romine keeps bugging me. You need to build a nostalgia car. Oh man,
yes, you do.
I don't know. Yeah, some days I feel too old though, Ron. I don't know.
You know how it is. These will make you feel young, Doug.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, though, the funny cars at several races this year are faster speeds than the top fuel cars. And, you know, it's just, I guess, attributed to the aerodynamics, all the work that all the funny car teams have done to those cars to make them so streamlined and so slippery that they're running as fast as they are.
Yeah, and you know how it's been that way in the past several years. I remember when I was a crew member on a dragster before I became a driver. There were times when funny cars ran faster than dragsters, and I always wondered that, because you look at a funny car and you look at a dragster and you think automatically there's no way. But Nitro loves to be loaded. You look at these bodies now, like you just mentioned, and you know Force has that new body out, and our Dodge Chargers are so swoopy looking. Everybody's done a good job. They look so spacey. You know, they look like a rocket ship, and they're just gliding through the air. And on top of that, they load the nitro a little bit harder than I think the dragsters do, and it's producing good speeds.
Man, well, I'll tell you what, you guys have something figured out. So you're the guys that can swing. That you can win the East Coast swing. So congratulations last week on the win, dominating performance. Great job for you and the whole Napa team. Tobler, man, he is on it, and he's such a fine tuner,
right? You guys too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, we were part of it.
We're taking credit.
That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Yep.
Well, I'll be there. I'll be there this weekend in Englishtown, so I'll come by and say hi.
Well, hopefully I have plans with you guys next Wednesday as well.
There you go.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get it on the calendar right now. Driver of the Napa Dodge for Don Schumacher Racing, Ron Capps joining us. Thanks so much for your time.
You got it, guys. I'll see you.
See you.
And probably we're going to see him on Wednesday once again. It'll be the third time in a row, but that's all right. He's not going to complain.
No, well, I can almost guarantee you we're going to see him again before the end of the year because
no question.
The car's just running too good. And I know Tobler's a fine tuner. Like, he is like Dick LaHaye. You know, it's go after these small things. Let's don't go after the big thing, because then we'll take a step back to find a step forward. But we're going to fine tune and fine tune and fine tune. And when Tobler gets into a position like he's in right now with that car,
where he's just swinging,
everybody else is going to be in a little bit of trouble, because Tobler is so good at finding the little small things. When he's got the big things figured out, it's those little fine things that'll keep you a little bit in front of him. And Ron Capps knows that and sees that and drives the car extremely well. You know, as we were talking about with the reaction times. I mean, he's there every run. He doesn't make many mistakes driving the car.
No, indeed not. When we return, we'll wrap up another great edition of the show.
This is The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. More coming up right after this.
If you need a ready-mix truck with an excellent product support network, look no further than Houseby Mixer Systems. We offer superior performance and reliability. Houseby works with your local truck dealer for immediate product support for the ready-mix trucks, parts, and service. We can also offer direct sales. It's your choice. We also carry an inventory of ready-to-work mixer trucks. Visit houseby.com for more information.
Ever wish your kid came with an instruction manual? I'm behavioral therapist James Lehman, and I'll show you how to change your child's behavior now with the Total Transformation, the program that helps stop defiance, backtalking, lying, acting out in school, even problems with ADD and ADHD. There's no screaming, no fighting, no frustration. Your child will listen to you again. I guarantee it.
Change your child's behavior now with the Total Transformation. Call now. 1-800-406-2945. 1-800-406-2945.
What do you love most about July 4th weekend? Is it the food? The family? The fireworks? Well, this July 4th weekend, add one more word to the list. First. As in the first Coke Zero 400 at the world's first motorsports stadium. Everything you love about the holiday gets a huge upgrade at the all-new Daytona. The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series Coke Zero 400, powered by Coca-Cola. Saturday night, July 2nd. Guarantee your seats at 1-800-PIT-SHOP or DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
Welcome back to The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Here's more with Marty Huff and Doug Herbert.
Big thanks to Antron Brown, Alan Johnson, and Ron Capps for joining us on the show today. Hey, want to remind you, coming up here in the Midwest, around Missouri and the Kansas area, you could see that hot rod in full size all over Missouri and Kansas. We'll take a look at the some of the schedule there. Grain Valley, Lee's Summit, Higginsville, Olathe in Grandview, and then twice in Independence on the 16th as well. You can go to your O'ReillyAutoParts.com/shredder to check out more details on where you can see the O'Reilly Shredder. Thanks for being with us here on MRN.com. This is The Straight Line, along with the Grand Marshal this weekend at Englishtown. Doug Herbert, I'm Marty Huff. Grand Marshal, this is cool.
That is really cool. Yeah, we just, NHRA just came out with a press release and announced that I'm the Grand Marshal at Englishtown this weekend. So that's going to be fun, and that's in honor of our brakes program that we've been doing up there, been working with the track, and we're also going back. We're making the announcement that we're going back to Englishtown for another brakes program here in October. So really looking forward to that. Had just a great reception from everybody in Englishtown in the New Jersey area for the brakes program. So really excited about it. Excited to go up there. This weekend's race is the 8th anniversary of Scott Coletta's crash. I was talking to Jim Oberhofer earlier, and he said, you got to come over on Saturday night because we're going to have Eddie's Lobster Fest.
Yeah.
So honor of Scott, they have a big lobster cook on Saturday called Eddie's Lobster Fest. For anybody that didn't know, Eddie was Scott Coletta's nickname because he had a funny little hair. If anybody, you go find a picture of Scott Coletta, I got one on my phone. I'll have to send it till we could put it on the screen. But he looked like Eddie Monster, so that's what everybody would mess with him. Hey, Eddie. He looked like Eddie Monster, so we'd make a little fun of him. But so looking forward to that. Englishtown this weekend. I'm sure some racing, depends on the weather, but it looks like it's going to be pretty good. So Englishtown will most likely be very fast. It's typically been one of the places throughout the year where records are set at Englishtown. It's sea level. The track is pretty good. And, that air comes in, the ocean air comes in. There could be some very, very good performance over there at Englishtown. So I'll be looking forward to that.
And considering that the teams have had a couple of weeks of really good conditions to set really low ETs at Topeka and then again at Epping, the teams are of the mindset right now of just put it on kill and go. I mean, they're not trying to tiptoe.
Well, right. And Epping and Englishtown are going to be very, very similar conditions. So the guys, whatever they were doing last weekend is most likely a lot of that going to roll over to this weekend. So be looking for some pretty strong performances.
Yep. Great big thanks to Antron Brown, Alan Johnson, and Ron Capps for joining us on our show. So for everyone involved, including Craig Moore this week, Robbie Mays and Doug, I'm Marty. We'll see you next week on The Straight Line.
You've been listening to The Straight Line, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Tune in again next Thursday at noon Eastern on MotorRacingNetwork.com and the MRN app. The Straight Line is the show for drag racing fans and is brought to you by Hercules Tires. This program is also available on demand at the MRN.com Media Center, or you can download it through iTunes or Stitcher. The Straight Line is a production of the Motor Racing Network. All rights reserved.